God, Jesus, light in the world, and I decided to do this. I let these kids fool me, Father God, in the name of Jesus. Help me, Lord, help me.
For those of you who aren't fully awake yet, let me catch you up to speed. We're not waiting for the war to start. We're already at war. We're waiting for the first battle. That's what we're waiting on. And that feeling that you feel?
It ain't nothing. Oh, God. Jesus.
That's how the Patriots felt in 1776. Have faith.
Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Well, the weekend was packed with all types of moving parts since President Trump announced how they stole the election. The panic is real. The strike is hitting hard and fast. They are on mainstream media, actually, exposing this to the public about the elections. And leaders are not mincing words, our leaders. The battle to get the exposure of the traitors to the public is playing out on a world stage. You definitely don't want to miss this episode. We're at 513,000 followers on Rumble. Thank you for following us there. And we continue to be number 2 next to Dan Bongino on the leaderboard on Rumble. We really appreciate that and wanted to show you this.
Our new And We Know bracelets connect you with scripture with just the tap of your phone. Simply tap your phone to the bracelet, click the pop-up, and there's a new verse every time. If you're feeling anxious, need to pray, or just want to see what God has for you in the moment, you can tap for a verse and pray over that situation. Now available online.
Now available online. You guys can go to andweknow.com. There's our brand new website. It's been released finally. Been working on that for a long, long time. And there are kind of a couple surprises there for you if you want to get on over there and check it out. If you're listening and not watching, I just scrolled right past it. You'll be pleasantly surprised how it is built for you, and you will totally enjoy it. Let's get to this.
We're back with a Fox News alert on the Middle East. CENTCOM just announced a new wave of strikes against Iran began moments ago. That marks the 9th consecutive night of attacks against Iran. This follows the death of a 3rd U.S. service member and the death of 2 U.S. service members in Jordan who were killed during Iranian ballistic missile and drone strikes on U.S. assets. Unidentified remains were also found.
Yep. And so the bombings are happening, and I wanted to show you this.
And any word of further U.S. strikes, any further retaliation as a result of these deaths, Lucas?
So we had deaths of American service members, if you didn't know that, and we're lifting up their families in prayer. We hope you guys are keeping up with what's going on there.
John, it's likely those strikes are being carried out as we speak. It's nightfall here in Tel Aviv. It's 11 p.m. here in Tel Aviv, 11:30 in Tehran. Those strikes are likely happening as we speak. We've also seen some more activity from the U.S. naval blockade. Now 5 ships have been forced to reverse course. We saw the U.S. Marine Corps boarding a tanker in the trying to make a run for Karg Island. That ship was disabled. We also saw the Marines board another ship, a sanctioned vessel that was had the capability to carry over 2 million barrels of oil. But there's no question, John, not just the blockade, but the war has resumed. These are major combat operations. It all started last week when Iran attacked those 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And it says something, John, that the U.S. Navy has not sailed any warships through the Strait of Hormuz in at least 2 months. So there is some likely going to be strikes this evening, and also a reminder to everyone of the presence of the U.S. Air Force throughout the Middle East, certainly here in Israel, where additional fighter squadrons are coming in, as well as refueling planes. In fact, when we landed at Ben Gurion Airport, the international airport here in Israel, in Tel Aviv, we saw a number of those refueling planes. And President Trump, let's remember how we got here, John, tried the diplomatic route, the memorandum of understanding, sent his Vice President J.D. Vance.
Yep. And so those updates are coming in. I wanted to hear from somebody. Milo Joy happened to post this. Milo Joy, about a guy who had a friend in Iran, and he gives an update about what's going on out there.
Hey everyone, I just got off the phone with my friend in Iran, and I just want to share his perspective with you guys. And just to give some context, he's an older gentleman. He's retired. He's not a political person, but he's in no way a fan of the government in Iran. But this is what he had to say. He says that southern Tehran is in ruins after this latest bombing campaign. Miles and miles of southern Tehran, it's just dust, he said. And the people in that region of Tehran don't have access to water or electricity right now. And this is an area of Tehran that the people are already suffering greatly. They can't afford bread. That's what he said. And now they don't have access to water or electricity. He says the death count, nobody knows, but a lot of people, especially in this latest U.S. campaign of bombings, have perished. He says on every level, Iran is in a depression, whether economically, socially, as a result of this war, that everyone he talks to, according to his words, they don't want to live. And, when I try to just pass a positive message to him or tell him I love him, his response is that how is his life any more valuable than the other people in Iran, of the children who don't have parents anymore, of the parents who don't have children anymore as a result of this war. He also said that Trump and Netanyahu and Khamenei and all these people are the same, and he doesn't know what they want from the people of Iran. But it seems that they're, according to him and his opinion, that they are preparing for a ground invasion of Iran, and they are planning to start invading Iranian cities. Also, the banks, a few banks in Iran are still frozen. They've been hacked, and people don't have access to their money. So all these things and the latest bombing campaign might be a sign that they're getting ready to invade. The people of Iran need your focus. I know the World Cup is happening and everyone is celebrating. But
so again, that update and the information that they're receiving in Iran, of course, is that, and they're not seeing the bigger picture of what this is playing out. They were under the IRGC. You remember 50,000 people trying to protest were just taken out by the IRGC. And what they're seeing with the bombings and everything is bringing them into depression and more, and they don't see any hope, and they're saying that it's all linked together as the same. Now, as this has been playing out, he mentioned the World Cup, and President Trump actually flew over into the World Cup to give the final to a great team, Spain, and he had this video from Dan Scavino posted out at 12:17 was the time I got, which is 00:17, and it goes from darkness to light. You see that? Brightens up as he flies over the stadium there in New York, New Jersey, and brought me to drop number 17 on the board. Why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Now, we're talking about that in the present tense probably also, but I just think about how Obama is the one responsible for bringing billions of dollars in cash and then, of course, wiring money over to Iran which had all of this play out in the first place. But President Trump has reminded us that it's 47 years that we've been dealing with this. It's not just Obama. Obama was the cherry on top of this cake that was built by them, that they allowed these IRGC folks to even go in the first place. And so Obama's just the kingpin guy that's probably in big trouble. I'll share that with you in a minute with John Solomon, what he said about him. Focus on the power of the President of the United States as it relates to the Marines. So how can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? And so this is the reason why the shills are sliding. In case you don't know, shills log and send new info back to the ASF for instruction. And the MSM, they are aggressively looking to censor throughout major platforms. And they've been doing that for a long time. Now, since we brought up Obama, let me just bring this up about the reminder that Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury.
I know President Trump has every right to be frustrated with him. I think President Trump's analysis last week was right. I think my immunity rule might protect him on the original charges. That's what most legal experts tell me, that ruling is so sweeping it will protect Obama for what he did in office. However, Barack Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury. He cannot take the Fifth Amendment because he has immunity from prosecution. He'll have to tell the truth. If he lies as a private citizen about what he did as president, he'll no longer have that immunity. And that is a trap that Obama is sitting potentially facing. And I want to say the irony to that, because on January 5th, 2017, he presided over a meeting in the White House where the FBI had just cleared Mike Flynn of any wrongdoing. And they schemed in that meeting how they might be able to jam up Mike Flynn. And they came up with the idea, we'll lure him into an interview, catch him into a lie, and then prosecute him that way. Barack Obama now is about to face a potential similar situation as the one he created unfairly for Mike Flynn.
Don't forget that. He's going to have to tell the truth. We've talked about this in the past. And I had to talk with my friend the other day to know much about the Q board and more. But in updating him, I said, we're told on the Q board by the time they're done with Obama, he's going to claim Kenyan citizenship to get out of it, to get out of the traitor part that he played in all of this. Another thing is that was posted was a 3-second video. Dan Scavino Jr. actually posted President Trump from the stadium view. So we had the view from the helicopter, right, from above, Marine One, and then you have the view from below. And you notice that 3-second video has the final written on there on the screen. Interesting picture, huh? 3-second video, open your eyes. Okay, POTUS has everything. Operation Mockingbird, that's the media, how they play their games. Priority to clean out the bad actors to unite people behind the America First agenda. Many in our government worship Satan. We've talked about that. Not about Republicans versus Democrats at this stage. Where is Hillary Rodham Clinton? Why is the National Guard across 12 cities? Trust in your president and more. Now, we're going to get into Catherine Herridge actually going on mainstream media, folks. News Nation. She's reporting breaking news. And it's Katie Pavlich that she goes on. It's a pretty big station, News Nation. And she presents the information that was found out when it comes to the stolen 2020 election and the intel on China. Stick around. We're living in a world where plastic is no longer just around us, it's inside us.
And we start with a new study on the impact of microplastics, which found human brains contained as much plastic as a plastic spoon, which is up 50% from 2016.
What we're finding is in the brains of people who have dementia, there's actually higher amounts of microplastics.
And these microplastics don't stay just in your brain. When that ecosystem is disrupted, your health can suffer, triggering inflammation, high blood sugar, and oxidative stress, the leading driver of cancer. The good news is that while you can avoid microplastics entirely, you can support your gut and help your body fight back. That's where kimchi comes in. Certain probiotic strains found in kimchi have demonstrated the ability to not only remove toxins like BPA, new research is also exploring how these same beneficial bacteria may help bind and excrete microplastics before they can go and do further damage. Kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods, but its strong taste and smell can make daily use a challenge. So Kimchi One gives you all the benefits of fermented kimchi in an easy-to-take capsule without the mess or hassle. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains like enzymes and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, and metabolism. Studies show that kimchi can even reduce the risk of obesity by 31.8%. Kimchi One is made with all natural, non-GMO ingredients and 100% made in the USA. I personally love knowing that I'm supporting my gut, immune system, and overall health with one simple daily capsule. If you're looking for an easy way to help your body fight back against today's toxic environment, Kimchi One is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore and they'll give you up to 50% off plus free shipping. Call 888-317-9941. The first 100 callers to order will also get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you can only get the 50% off, free shipping, and free bottle of vitamin D3 when you call. Once again, that number is 888-317-9941. So here's a reminder before I play Catherine Herridge. We were given November 12th, 2020. How do you show the public the truth? How do you safeguard U.S. elections after President Trump is gone? How do you remove foreign interference and corruption and install U.S.-owned voter ID laws and other safeguards? Guys, this was given to us 6 years ago, okay? It had to be this way. Sometimes you must walk through the darkness before you see the light. Now, interesting because we just saw that post where President Trump from dark to light. Listen to this.
So first, just your reaction to the president's announcement tonight.
Well, I think it's a very significant announcement, not only what he said, but the fact that they are releasing these documents so that we can really fact check the claims we heard this evening. I've been digging into the documents already, and I found this November 2020 email. And it specifically states, it's a conversation among intelligence officials. It specifically states that they have, quote, deliberately massaged one of our pending PDBs, that's the president's daily brief, to avoid any direct links to the election. And that is consistent with my reporting. I understand the whistleblower complaint alleged, and I think we're now seeing it in the emails, that there was an intentional effort to suppress intelligence about China's influence operations. And this was, Katie, like a massive effort, what they call a multi-domain operation. That means trade, it means diplomacy, it means open source information, it means social media. So all the levers of power China had to influence the U.S. elections.
In your reporting, you've said that a senior intelligence official emphasized to you that in 2020, China was not held to the same standard as Russia and other adversaries, including North Korea, Iran, and proxies like Hezbollah, and that the Chinese influence operations were consistently downplayed while Russia's were routinely amplified. You also talked about this whistleblower who was reportedly retaliated against for trying to bring this information to light.
So in the summer of 2020, as we're heading into the election, in the intelligence community, there were indicators of this Chinese influence operation. Influence operations means that you're trying to affect the outcome of how people vote or their sentiment about a presidential candidate. It's different than an interference operation, which is penetrating voting rolls and voter systems. And this whistleblower was raising the alarm about the influence operation, and then suddenly it all was suppressed. My understanding is that some of their reports, there were in officials' own handwriting that they wanted everything out that could help President Trump in his reelection. So there was clear evidence of political and personal bias, and intelligence is supposed to be neutral. So what we heard tonight from the president is an allegation that this intelligence was suppressed in order to harm him, and now we're seeing documents already which back up those claims.
What we just heard was that the CIA was doing everything possible to make sure that Donald Trump was not elected. They were hiding evidence. They were hiding evidence of election interference from China. They were making sure that Democrats were going to get elected. So this is somebody who worked at the CIA during the Trump administration. And he basically confirms everything that they're saying, that everybody at the CIA hated Trump. They didn't recognize him as a president. Just take a listen. It's exactly what you would expect.
You're working at CIA during the Trump election. What was the view of that within the CIA? What do people think of Trump at CIA?
Well, what I found interesting was every government building usually has the picture of the president, the vice president. In this particular case, I don't know how many months it took them to eventually put the picture of the president and the vice president up on the wall, as if they didn't even want to recognize him as the president or the vice president. I mean, it got so bad in one of my offices that one of the leaders actually spoke out and said, look, we have to respect the chain of command. If you find yourself mentally distressed because Trump won the presidency, go seek some psychological help.
Yeah. Let's get back to John Solomon. He happened to be with Glenn Beck. Looks like some journalists are going to be in trouble, too.
In one of the documents released last night, the Chinese government journalist who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them to write more negative articles about him.
Yep.
Are we ever going to get to a place where we will see names?
I've asked for that now. The commission just asked for that task force. So if there are any journalist names that they've confirmed, I hope we'll be able to make them public sometime soon.
Wow.
Oh, the journalists that are caught. Traitors. Another release from Dan Scavino Jr. He's doing a lot of stuff lately, been helping us out quite a bit. He released this one.
This is going to be a strike. Yeah. Got it? Yeah.
For those listening, he's bowling in the White House. And he gets a strike. And he smiles with a little salute. And Justice Cummins said the strike will be fast. It's interesting. Batten down the hatches, Patriots. More intel drops coming. Thanks for playing it, Jack. Showing your hand was the intended target. The strike will be fast. Shall we play a game? Maybe one day it can, maybe one day. But it cannot go slow. The initial wave will be fast and meaningful. We'll send a signal to others immediately. And you'll see the tide turn. Not even the mainstream media can hide. And rest assured, some will be jailed as deep cover agents, just like we heard from John Solomon. Marco Rubio happened to travel here recently, and he gave a fantastic speech. But somebody cut the best part out, and this is brilliant.
I want to say this with as much respect as I can. There's nobody in the Senate that can lecture me on immigration. This is not a political issue. I've lived it my whole life. This is not immigration. 3.3 million people released into the country. 5,000 to 10,000 people a day illegally arriving in the country. That's not immigration. Immigration is a good thing. Mass migration is a bad thing. And that's what this is. This is a mass migration, and it's not good for anyone. It's not even good for the migrants, many of whom are raped and killed along the way. It's good for the traffickers. It's good for the enemies of this country, but it's not good for the migrants. This is mass migration. And it reminds me, people say, well, if you're against this and you want to be strict about immigration, that's anti-immigrant, which is silly. At least they say it to me. But I remember, I'm not anti-rain. I think rain is a good thing. I think we need rain, right? I'm anti-flood. I'm not against the rain, I'm against flooding. Does being against flooding make you anti-rain? No. And being against mass migration does not make you anti-immigration, because mass migration is not immigration.
How about that? It's getting better. He's traveling around the world. He's letting them know. Common sense should prevail. Talking about these illegals and how they flood into all these countries, including our own. President Trump's administration's cracking down hard. Fake trucking schools and illegal drivers are removed. Thousands of unqualified schools yanked from federal registry. 24,000 plus non-English speaking drivers taken off roads. 28,000 plus illegal licenses canceled. 9,500 plus fraudulent schools shut down. The real tragedy in Colorado, illegal immigrant with no commercial driver's license and deportation order crashes a semi, and he killed a 64-year-old Scott Miller.
But I can tell you right now, I go out quite a bit. It's more dangerous now than it ever has been because of the false stories, the rhetoric. ICE has never arrested anybody in the hospital. Someone's got a case, give it to me, because it's not happened. ICE has never arrested anybody in elementary school. You got a case, contact me, because it's never happened. ICE has never arrested anybody in a church. The only people that violated the sanctuary of church was Don Lemon and that group. Yeah. But you hear all the time, people don't want to go to church, people don't want to go to schools, people don't want to go to hospital because they're afraid of ICE. That is fear put in the immigrant community by the Democrats who wants to turn the public against ICE. Again, you can't name one example we did that. Another discussion I had with the Democrats on the Hill, and they kept saying, we want central location policy. I said, why? Are we doing something wrong? Give me one case. Any of you, because I hear you all talking about it on the news. Give me the specifics. Not one. So ICE.
How about that, huh? They're coming out, throwing all kinds of accusations. ICE You guys are arresting people in church now. Only people who violated the sanctity of a church was Don Lemon. Holman calls out the fear campaign. ICE has never hit hospitals or elementary schools. Democrats are scaring immigrants away from church and medical care to turn the public against ICE.
We've begun the process of identifying the firms, the contractors that are engaged in this criminal activity, and you're going to begin to see a very severe crackdown. The early reports I've gotten on that are very promising. And then we also have begun in earnest implementing our banking integrity measures. So you may remember President Trump signed an executive order a few weeks ago saying that we are not going to allow illegal aliens to use banking services in this country. Contrary to popular perception, the stupid phrase about illegal aliens living in the shadows. Illegal aliens don't live in the shadows. Illegal aliens have credit cards, they have bank accounts, and they're paid with direct deposit. So illegal aliens fully participate in the commercial systems, the financial systems of America. Shutting that down is a massive engine for deportation. And so the Treasury Department just issued new guidance to financial institutions, to banks. And so the next step in this process is us meeting individually with banks and financial institutions on cooperating with us to remove illegal aliens from the banking system. Once illegal aliens lose their access to capital, that is going to, again, be a major driver of self-deportation.
Yeah. While this has been playing out, I often wonder how many illegals are over here as Muslims. How they got over here in the first place. Is it H-1B visas? How many of them overstayed? How many are not supposed to be here? Why are they able to build their gigantic mosques all over the country and more? I wanted to show you a couple of things on that. The first one is this screaming and yelling you're going to hear is a Muslim takeover of America in Dallas, Texas. So those listening and not watching, there's women wearing full hijab, burqas, the whole thing, just like you see in the Middle East. They're now causing all types of chaos and craziness in Dallas. And they're screaming at the police and more, and the police are doing all they can to calm them down. But they're misbehaving. And they're going to continue. It's going to get worse and worse there in Dallas. How is this happening in Texas, said Rob Schneider, the comedian. A Muslim Brother operative building a full-scale mini-state with American tax dollars. Amy Mack shows us this in Katy, Texas.
Introducing the Al Huda Islamic Center, a beacon of unity and learning in the heart of Katy, Texas. The Al Huda Islamic Center, nestled in the serene landscapes of Northwest Katy. This project is not unique and exemplary, but stands as a testament to self-reliance and sustainability. The Al Huda Islamic Center is not just a place of worship, it's a dynamic hub of religious, educational, and social activities. From engaging workshops and enlightening lectures to heartwarming community events, we strive to provide a holistic experience that caters to all ages and backgrounds. We are very excited and thrilled to unveil this distinctive project. Let's highlight some of its salient features. When we talk about self-reliance and self-sustainability, here's what we mean. The shopping center and residential apartments together not only can generate enough revenue to support the whole project, but seamlessly blend modern living with spiritual proximity and provide shelter to the individuals experiencing abuse and our elderly folks. Next comes the daycare for children and full-fledged K-12 school, where young minds blossom. An Islamic university where intellect flourishes. About 20,000 skift of our main masjid hall, with the capacity to hold approx 1,500 musallin, a multi-purpose hall that reverberates with cultural exchanges, sports activities, social gatherings, Ramadan suhoor, and iftar dinners.
All in America. Gym, swimming pools, just like their own little mini city. And they expand more and more throughout each community. And before you know it, Sharia law is brought in, and next thing you know, all types of crimes will start playing out and more. Now, if you're looking at Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan, if you go to their Home Depot, well, what did Home Depot do for them? Oh, they printed out their signs and they put their writing. If you see that moving and underneath the English, they've got their language written there. It's not assimilation. This is Islamic takeover of America. Wall Street Ape said he found many major retailers in Dearborn have also added Arabic locations at stores like Walmart, Home Depot, Costco, Kroger, and Albertsons. Watch this.
For anyone who doubts that this is actually Arabic on those Home Depot signs, it is absolutely Arabic, and I put it in here just to show you. So here's the translations. But what might shock you is it's not just Home Depot. If you go down here and check what other major retailers in Dearborn, Michigan have added Arabic to their signs, here's a list.
You can go through that list. You'll see them all. Kroger's on there, Albertsons, so many more. Now, alert Sharia, Texas. I wanted to show you this. Amy Mack always posting this. Shopper walks into Walmart, Murphy, Texas, and runs smack into a full wall of Sharia hijabs.
Texas, we have a problem. Today at Rare Foundation, our tip line came in with something troubling. Someone was walking through Walmart in Murphy, Texas, and what did they come across? A full wall of Sharia hijabs. This, unfortunately, doesn't shock us. A few months ago, another follower sent photos, also from Murphy, of a development where all the street names were Islamic. Sadiq Drive, Osman Drive, Saeed Drive, Al-Maan Drive. But now Walmart has gone even further. Go look at their website right now. They're selling children's prayer rugs, full Islamic gift sets, wall art and calligraphy with Allah and Muhammad, dua books, hijabs, the whole Sharia shopping list. These used to be good all-American stores, and now corporate America is jamming Sharia right into small-town America. Can you even believe this? You roll into Murphy, Texas, deep in the heart of Texas, and bam, hijab staring you in the face while you just wanted to buy some cowboy boots. This is coming to every small town in America. No red state is safe, not Texas, Florida, Alabama, nowhere. Walmart just proved they'll sell out our country for Islam and cold hard cash. Corporations are in bed with Islamic nations and their interests, and it's hitting small towns like Murphy everywhere you turn. I mean, really, America? This is what we've become? We're already having Islam working hard to take over our country from within, and now we're helping them do it ourselves for profit.
Now, I want to show you something else. The Muslim population's surging in Sweden. Look at this.
Islam is taking over Europe faster than you think. France is already nearly 10% Muslim, Sweden over 8%, Germany and UK around 7%. And integration is going absolutely fantastic. In the UK, only 51% of working age Muslims have a job. Across France, Germany, and Sweden, unemployment and welfare rates are triple the native average. Over 50% of young Muslims in Europe say they want Sharia over local law. Crimes are a real threat too. Sexual assaults in Sweden up over 1,000% since the 1970s. In Germany, just 7% of the population accounts for nearly 40% of sexual assaults. Now add the birth gap. Native European women average 1.6 kids. Muslim immigrants, 2.6. By 2050, Sweden could hit 30% Muslims, France and the UK near 18%. And those numbers explode by 2100. If the wars in the Middle East stop, we're looking at you, US and Israel, and AI kills the demand for immigrant labor, this might slow down. Or is it already too late for Europe?
What do you guys think? All this playing out. Day after day, giving you updates on how it's working and more. And, President Trump labeled them as communists. Well, Bill Maher, we're going to show him in a moment. Out of all people, doesn't want that. He's going to go against his own Democrat Party. We're going to look at that red wave that's building throughout and so much more. Hang in there. New Spring Wellness Center. Your all-natural one-stop shop for optimal brain health and overall wellness. They're out of Osage Beach, Lake of the Ozarks. Folks, I've been there twice now. You can reach out to Chad and Katie Burrow for support. Are you a loved one or a loved one struggling with addiction? At New Spring Wellness Center, they offer a proven outpatient program that addresses addiction recovery like no other. Their brain restoration program is designed to restore your health, eliminate cravings, and help you achieve lasting recovery. Folks, I have witnessed it for myself. The changes in people who had addictions. They have faith-based support, IV therapy. They have prayer and so much more. John N. said he had alcohol and brain fog. He said, I came to New Spring Wellness for alcohol and brain fog, something I've struggled with for over 30 years. I tried AA before, but this treatment was unique, different than anything else, and it offered a better outcome for me. My head feels so much clearer. My faith has deepened. I've made new friendships, and I have no desire for alcohol, completely different than just 2 weeks ago. Around day 5, I started to feel a real change. There's truly no comparison. I feel renewed. The people here are friendly, professional, and knowledgeable. The patient care is excellent. I'd absolutely recommend this to anyone. Amber was addicted to Xanax for 15 years before coming to New Spring Wellness. Tried the inpatient and outpatient programs, counseling, AA. I came to New Spring to ease withdrawal symptoms in a stress-free environment and to begin repairing my neural pathways. A family member who works in recovery told me about it. Almost instantly, my withdrawal symptoms eased, and I finally had time to focus on myself, surrounded by caring individuals. The emotional support and brain restoration formula made a real difference. By days 2 to 4, I had more energy and better focus. Folks, I've talked to people there, prayed with folks that have come through this program. It will change your life. Go in the description box below and click on that link to change your life or others forever.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know that the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism.
Islam is taking...
I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they
Out of all people, Bill Maher, the one who wore the red shoes, the one that we've called out here over and over again for who he belongs to, it makes you wonder if he was one of those that was told, hey, we're going to, you're in big trouble. And we need you to slowly wake up those that listen to you. And it's going to be hard for most to accept because they're going to figure out who you really are and what you've done. Crimes against children and more. But you know what? We're going to let you do your operation, and you're going to go out to these people and you're going to say, I am not going to let communism rise within the Democratic Party. Also, this guy could be somebody wearing a mask. For all we know, remember we've showed how the CIA would create masks, put them on people, and you wouldn't even know if you walked right up to them and stood next to them and had a conversation. Who knows if that's the real deal or not. But I tell you what, a guy like that, his leftist-leaning life and more, corruption, saying stuff like this is going to wake some more people up. Red Wave building, Republicans favored in 212 House seats. Cook Political Report has GOP up in 212 districts, just 6 toss-ups needed for full control. Inside elections show them at 215 already. Momentum is unstoppable. The American people are rejecting the radical left. Now, you know, a guy named Ralph Norman is running for U.S. Senate in South Carolina. And check this out.
Thank you so much for having me, Kaylee. And first of all, the next senator will replace Lindsey Graham, who's been an icon. I'm here to announce that I will be a candidate for the Senate. I'll be throwing my hat in the ring. And, you know, day one, Kaylee, I will be laser focused on passing President Trump's America First. And it starts with the Save America Act. We'll nuke the filibuster, and I will be a vocal vote and a supporter to make this happen. And it's not happening in the Senate right now. That's why I'm doing it.
Well, that's welcome news, I know, to our audience.
Welcome news, Ralph Norman. So we'll see how that one plays. Anybody know him out there? Let us know below the video what you think about that. All right, now listen to this clip, and we're getting to Joe Lang's talking about Wayne Mullen. Here we go.
Real ID does not prove citizenship and does not give you the right to vote. You must be a U.S. citizen and you must be eligible to vote. Before and after the election, we will scrub all election records looking for illegal aliens and those who are ineligible to vote, including those that somehow voted, yet they were deceased. If you're illegal and attempted to vote, or you tried to vote illegally for someone else, we will find you and we will charge you. Illegal voter registration and illegal voting both carry penalties up to 5 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines. We will pursue maximum pressure on this. To let you know, we will be proactively looking at early voting, and then after post-election, we will continue to scrub all those that did vote. Those states that don't participate with us, they have public records of those that voted, which is where we found the 250,000 from the 4 states that don't participate with us. We will go through those records one by one, and we will pursue everybody. We will make sure that people know they can trust our elections.
How about that, huh? Joe Lang, don't miss the important part of what the secretary said. Now, here's a 28-minute speech that was posted in Homeland Security, but we took this part here. The Trump administration is giving every state and their election officials the information that their voter registrations are corrupted and how to fix them. Trump isn't just giving these corrupt election officials the choice to fulfill their oath and do the right thing. He also is eliminating any defense lawyer argument against ignorance. Trump is placing all state election officials in a box. They are trapped. If they don't secure their elections and prevent non-citizens and dead people from voting by cleansing their voter registration rolls, then they have knowingly committed a crime. They have knowingly violated the constitutional rights of the American people. There's a reason why Trump placed Harmeet Dillon as the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Justice. Have you heard what she's recently said about state election officials violating the voting rights of American citizens? Here's what's important. Harmeet Dillon sent legal documents to every state's top election officials reciting federal law that governs elections. They now cannot pretend that they didn't know the law before the midterms, and if they don't clean up their voting registrations and remove the non-citizens and dead people, they will criminally be liable for knowingly violating the American people's right to vote. They took an oath to uphold election laws. The Trump administration, with the help of Doge and AI, can easily determine how many dead people are in the voter registration rolls and how many non-citizens. And they will be able to easily determine how many of them voted after the election, too. The choice is theirs now. Follow the law or face justice. Because justice is coming. Speaking of justice, Debriefing 17 put this out while you're being distracted. He says, with the smoke in the air, presidential addresses. Omar Morales Negron, JFK Airport and Long Island Distribution, HSI New York, DEA Northeast, FBI New York Joint Operations. Well, guess what? $100 million worth of cocaine brought to Long Island through alleged drug operation. Wow. That was July 16th. These police detectives out of Nassau County saw what prosecutors described as a hand-to-hand narcotics transaction in the parking lot of a Plainview hotel. Officers approached the two people. They allegedly found numerous open suitcases containing kilogram-sized packages of cocaine. All types of things are going down. Speaking of that, Dan Scavino posted this. And what you're... Again, Nessun Dorma. And he's showing the B-2 bomber again. And the F-22s. Karma Patriot was all over this, said the U.S. Air Force's B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, posted by Dan Scavino in formation with F-22 Raptors, is a nuclear-capable subsonic stealth strategic bomber engineered to penetrate even the most sophisticated air defenses. The B-2 prioritizes one goal, staying nearly invisible to radar so it can slip through defended airspace undetected. Drop 3668. When a B-2 bomber is no longer stealth, think public statements made last week. What must that signal? Public opinion is important. Information warfare, a traitor's justice. Drop 2462. Shadow players are the deadliest stealth. What is the advantage of having a temp acting in a leadership position? Laser designations locked on target. The world is watching. The world is witnessing the true identity of the D party. It's not only happening here, it's happening around the world. Eva was out there and she was thanking Elon Musk, who saved X. He saved freedom of speech in Europe. We are lucky to have a giant like him on our side. She said, no ifs, no buts.
I think we have to give credit where credit is due. And you're correct. Elon Musk saved X by buying it, but he also saved freedom of speech in Europe by buying it. So there's no but, he's a trillionaire, or his other faults. There are billionaires in this world who do nothing to protect freedom of speech, and in fact do a lot of bad things to limit it even further. So I really think that we should be incredibly grateful to him. And I'm a bit more optimistic because Musk has already been under massive attack from the European Union. Obviously, he's already been fined. X has been fined. He's not paying the fine. He's fighting it in court. And I trust that he won't pay the fine. Do we really think that Elon Musk is going to bow down to Ursula von der Leyen? I really don't think so. And that's exactly what we need, because these people here feel like they are invincible. And it's good that we have a giant in front of them to show them that maybe they're not as big as they think they are. So I really want to say thank you, because it's true. I owe X my livelihood and also being able to speak out and making this a success. The Safe Europe Act is not a success because of the mainstream media at all. I mean, we barely had media reports on it. So it's all through social media. And of course, it is more so through X than through any other platform. So I think we should be grateful. And I agree with Dries, of course, that the attacks are going to ramp up. But if there is one person I think that we can count on in this fight, I think it's him. He wouldn't have done it otherwise if he didn't really care. I mean, he could do a lot of other things with his free time. So yeah, that's my positive note that I'll end on.
That's SaveEuropeAct.com. She's doing a great job over there and has been for a long time. Now, Senate advances Trump's pro-tariff nominee, Kara Westerkamp, 49-48. The U.S. Senate just advanced Donald Trump's judicial nominee, Kara Westerkamp, to the U.S. Court of International Trade. That's great news. Confirm her fully. She'll likely deliver strong pro-tariff rulings. And that gets us into, we had a great interview with Dr. Kirk Elliott this past Saturday. We hope you check that out. U.S. holds largest gold stockpile. He got into this and wars to rid inflation tax. We're going to see if that's something that might play out. It's been in the headlines recently. And he had a clip play out, and it was pretty amazing. Let me show you this real quick.
You know, gold in the past has backed our currency from time to time. But before gold, silver backed the dollar. It's like, okay, I'm looking at this, and I don't want to put too much meaning into words, but words have meaning. Why did he bring that up?
We're talking about Scott Bessent. Why did he bring it up? Wow, we used to be backed by silver? Oh, you don't want to miss that interview. And you want to reach out to Dr. Kirk Elliott, andweknow.com/gold in the description box below, and he'll help you out with that. Haven't seen this in a while. Check this out.
When people show you who they are by telling you their plans, you should believe them and take them seriously.
We spent the last 30, 40 years in this country building 3,000 masjids, 300 Islamic schools, 250 elected officials, $4.3 billion. The next 30 years have to be about investing in leaders and change makers. And it's not just Memphis Islamic Center. It's every one of the 3,000 masjids in America. Our next move, our next priority is to develop as many Mus'ab bin Umairs as possible, because Islam is a solution. Because Islam is a solution. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was sent as a solution to all of mankind's problems.
I'm not sure about you, but that reminds me of the fable of the ant and the grasshopper. You know, where the ant is working diligently every day towards his mission. He's got a goal, not the grasshopper. Grasshopper is just taking it easy, laying back. Tomorrow will be exactly like today. Nothing changes if I don't do anything. The ant knows different. Why? Because the ant has a mission. He just told you.
I'm a teacher. You're watching the Kramer Says Project.
How about that? Interesting information, and he's been doing a great job. We've shown him before quite a bit. But wanted to just ensure we stay in prayer over this, and hopefully folks in Texas know, and other states throughout this United States, they want 3,000 mosques, and makes you really wonder how this is going to play out.
What if
We're going to need a lot. We're going to need a lot of prayer, a lot of things moving forward. So sorry about that playing in the background. But we want to see and understand how this is going to move out in the forward in our nation.
Remember when I told
what
you
we're going to
about
do
the
about
Coventry
it? We need to pray. We need to stay together and realize how our country was founded and ensure somehow, some way that these future elections play out the way that we hope they will. And we don't want to see this happen in our own country. Listen to this Danish woman, nearly in tears, when she hears what's outside of her home in Denmark. Europeans need to wake up. And she's crying, and you're just watching it play out in real time. Our hope is that somehow, some way. Now, Chuck Grassley posted something very interesting. We've been watching him for a long time, many years, thinking that he uses these corn videos and pictures to provide comms. Listen to this.
The corn, the tassel has come out, and the tassel will have the pollen. The pollen will fall down here on this ear that is just emerging from the stalk. This silk, one of these strands, will produce one kernel of corn. And so the pollen will fall on the silk, and the ear will get bigger, and the kernels will form. This is pollination stage of corn development.
Even has that little rally cap on. Observing Consciousness saw this. The seed was planted through years of investigations, whistleblowers, and preserved evidence. Now the D-class phase is cross-pollinating those scattered truths into one undeniable pattern. Pollination is not the harvest. It is the moment the kernels begin to form, making exposure irreversible and accountability inevitable. The harvest crop has been prepared and soon will be delivered to the public for consumption. Remember that on the cue board? A higher loyalty. Why? Remember those families, the family Y in the target brackets. Hunters become the hunted. Treason. Sedition. How do you remove a liability? 6 o'clock can be dangerous. Is your family proud? Corn in the target brackets. Harvest. Eyes on 5-5. Question mark. Oh, don't you just love it? You know, if you haven't had a chance to see the movie Young Washington, it's brilliant. Kelsey Grammer was on there, and he said this in one of his interviews, Fox Nation.
I think it's a nightmare to watch people trying to stop America from being America. I don't believe in globalism. I don't believe in anything else. I think the shining city on the hill is one of the things I still really believe in. There's a lot of people trying to pull it down, and that is part of our world. It's part of where we are, you know. And if you do something as extraordinary as the early patriots of America did, and the continuing commitment of America to the idea that out of many we are one, that's magnificent to me. But there's nothing exclusionary about the American dream. Nothing. It is still at hand, possible all the time. And the people who tell you it isn't are lying to you. It's probably part of their own American dream to make sure that, you know, they take it away from you.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid
that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you, thanking you for how you've put so many moving parts together so perfectly, using imperfect people to annihilate, get rid of this enemy that's spent many years, decades, trying to destroy all of us, enslaving us, stealing our money, using it for its resources and its crimes against humanity. We know that you've seen this, you've heard the prayers and the cries of the people, and while this is all playing out, we're watching people turn their lives to you through your Son, Jesus Christ. We thank you for the daily provisions you provide us. We ask that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, and for continued protection from the enemy who wants to destroy all of that's playing out before our very eyes. Please continue to protect those that are unleashing on the enemy. Watch over their families. Keep them safe. It's in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of your prayers and more going into this week. I have a feeling we're going to have much more information flowing out from the White House, President Trump, and so much more. It's going to be delightful to watch. For now, it's LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
Help me, Lord, help me.
For those of you who aren't fully awake yet, let me catch you up to speed. We're not waiting for the war to start. We're already at war. We're waiting for the first battle. That's what we're waiting on. And that feeling that you feel?
It ain't nothing. Oh, God. Jesus.
That's how the Patriots felt in 1776. Have faith.
Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.